If you're enjoying these videos, subscribe. Let YouTube know that I'm doing a good job by subscribing to the channel. Plus, you'll get notified when I have new videos coming out. And finally, if you're enjoying what I'm doing, give it a like. Just click on that thumbs up, and that way YouTube knows that you like it, and they'll pass it along to other people that might enjoy my content as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you again. Let's get started.
To present po the financial viability of Abaca products, let us welcome from the Visayas State University, Dr. Feliciano Sinon.
Okay, good afternoon sa lahat. Hindi pa kayo tulog? I hope so. Also, I'm happy to present to you this afternoon regarding Abaca products, financial viability. Maybe you are wondering why the color of products is different. No, so maybe this will be answered later on as I proceed to my presentation. No, so the National Abaca Research Center was created in 1987 by Picard, and it's situated at the Visayas State University main campus. So in case you are not aware where is this Visayas State University, this is our picture of the campus, the administration building facing the Camotes Sea, no? So we know our campus as the very scenic university or Visayas State University. This is the aerial view of the main campus facing the Camotes Sea. And sorry. I'm lost. Ibalik ko rin. Nagbalik.
So, balik po tayo.
Balik mo sa yan. Okay, yan.
Ito po yung next. Yung may
itong next, ito. Okay, so this is the main gate of our university going to the upper campus, and this is the view of the main administration building, and this is VSU sunset by the beach. Now, so the National Abaca Center has developed such different technologies, and these are some of these. This is one is the Abaca Power Stripper. This is the smallest stripping machine, which can produce about 80 to 100 kilos of Abaca fiber. Have also plant power shredder. This is the one that we also developed through the DE-BAR project, and this is also another project from the DE-BAR funded. And this is some of the machines that we developed for twine production. And these are some of the products from Abaca coming from the machines that we developed. And these are some of the handicrafts from the raw materials or the twines that we have developed from the machines. Okay, so before I proceed with the viability of the Abaca products, I would like to go back to see the background of the Abaca industry so that you will decide for yourselves how viable the Abaca products that we have. So we know that Abaca is indigenous in the Philippines and widely cultivated in Bicol, Visayas, and Mindanao regions, and is one of the major industrial crops in the country, grown for its fibers, which are processed into pulp, cordage, and fiber crops, and exported as raw fibers to other countries. you know that we are, as the main producer of Abaca, we are actually supplying about 85% of the world fiber requirement, and we are actually monopolizing the production of Abaca. So these are the industry is supporting about 1.5 million Filipinos for a living. And we are actually earning dollars, no, at an average of 70 to 85 million US dollars a year since century ago. So these are some of the uses of Abaca for industrial application. We have number one is the tea bags. We have cigarette wrapper. We have the antiseptic alcohol, antiseptic pad, lens, tissues, and many others. And the Philippine peso is now using about 20% of Abaca fiber in the production of the Philippine bill. And the Japanese money has been using this since 1940s. So these are other uses of Abaca for cordates, and these are some of the handicrafts and fiber crafts products. And it can use also for textiles. And these are some of the products for furniture. And new applications of Abaca is for shampoo, soap, conditioner, moisturizing cream, lotion, and scrub. And it's also been proven to be a good product for replacement of fiberglass in the manufacture of composites, no, for car parts. And it's also another application new uses, which is for medical use applications. Now, going into the production of Abaca, since 2013, our area is almost about 176,000 hectares, no, all over the country. And the highest producer of Abaca is Bicol. The highest area is Bicol, and followed by Eastern Visayas. In terms of Abaca fiber production, we are going down, no, from 2011 to 2015. And these states, we are also still producing about 67,000 metric tons per year. And the highest producer is again Bicol, and this is followed by Davao region, and Eastern Visayas is, I think, the third, no? Now, export earnings from fibers and manufacturers, as you notice there, it's about 114,000 in million metric in US dollars, no, in 2015. So imagine that if you convert that into pesos times 50 pesos. So these are the specific details of the different industries in the Abaca: pulp, cordates, fabric, fiber crafts, and a total of 114,793. That is $114 million, the income that we get annually from Abaca production. And the highest export of Abaca is going to United Kingdom, and we have Japan. And for export of Abaca pulp, we have Germany is the highest. This is where our tea bags is manufactured, and United Kingdom is second. In Europe, they are manufacturing these tea bags for tea. Now for cordates, cordates is an old business by the U.S. No, until this point in time, they are still the highest importer of our Abaca fiber for naval purposes. No, actually, in the history, it was the Americans when they came here, they found this fiber which is suited for cordage, no, which is strong grip in salt water, no? So mas resistance siya in salt water. That's why they continue to use this until this point in time. So in terms of production, it's the pulp that is using the highest volume of Abaca, followed by fiber, raw fiber, and the last is cordage. Now, in terms of production, as I mentioned, we are producing about 85% of the world fiber requirement. And other countries that is producing Abaca is Costa Rica, Ecuador, Equatorial Guinea, Indonesia, and the Philippines. So, in terms of fiber production, relatively low yield in major Abaca producing regions is expected to persist, considering that Abaca is a secondary crop and therefore receive limited investment from the farmers. A well-managed plantation can yield up to 2,000 kilograms per hectare. As of this point in time, no, the average production of Abaca throughout the country is only about 600 kilograms per hectare. That is because they are not looking into the investment of maintaining the Abaca production. Low yield due to traditional management system of Abaca farmers. You know, the traditional Abaca farmers, after planting the Abaca, they go to Manila and then they just go back and harvest during harvest. No, that's the time they clean the Abaca. So Abaca fiber is an export commodity, and whether processed or in raw form, its final market is principally the international community. Abaca is exported in the form of raw fibers for various grades, as shown in the figure, in the drawing, the photo. Exports of Abaca fibers from 2015 to 2024 showed a 23% change. The highest fiber importing of fiber is United Kingdom, Japan, Spain, and China. And for pulp, we have Germany, we have Japan, Spain, and China. The top three cordage importing countries, we have USA, about 3,000 metric tons, Canada, and Singapore. In the local consumption, the Abaca fiber is used in three major industries, namely the cordage, including ropes and twines. Second one is pulp and paper. The third one is fiber crafts, the handwoven and handicrafts. The bulk of Abaca fibers produced, particularly in Eastern Visayas, are used as raw materials for the big pulp mills. So, presently we have 6 pulp mills in the country. No, the one is in Canlubang Pulp Manufacturing Corporation. We have the Albay Agro Industrial Development Corporation. We have the Isarog Pulp Company Incorporated. We have the Newtek Pulp Incorporated, which is located in Iligan. We have Pulp Specialties Philippines, which is located at Albuera, Leyte. And we have Specialty Pulp Manufacturing Incorporated, which is located in Baybay City. So the estimated minimum fiber consumption of these pulp mills runs to up to 43,000 metric tons per annum. And we have also 6 Abaca cordage and rope companies, namely Manila Cordage, Oriental Rope, we have Pacific Continental, we have Pacific Cordage, Davao Rope, the Interrope Corporation. So fiber requirement of about 10,000 metric tons. So we have already for the pulp, which is about 50,000 metric tons, and now we have the cordage of about 10,000, so it's about 60,000 metric tons requirement for only the pulp mill and the cordage industry. So the Abaca industry will continue to making in both in the domestic and international market. The present supply of quality fiber is not sufficient to meet the growing demand. Expansion of market for Abaca is foreseen with the following encouraging development. So as of the point in time, we are looking into the increase in the demand of the fiber. Abaca is now used as 20 to 80 Abaca cotton blend in 500 and 1,000 peso circulation banknotes per approval by the Monetary Board and by the President Memo dated May 10, 2000. The use of Abaca pulp as raw material for specialty papers will remain strong and is expected to grow further as the technology and formulations developed and used by the specialty paper manufacturers are principally Abaca-based. We have Republic Act number 9242 prescribing the use of Philippine tropical fabrics for uniform of public officials and employees and for other purposes. I don't know if this has been implemented, no, because I'm also working in the government, and since this time we have not benefited out of this, no. It is because the lack of supply of the material. Utilization of Abaca for fabrics will create an additional demand of 752 metric tons of Abaca fiber per year for a 20% Abaca and 80% polyester blend. So actually this is an additional requirement for Abaca fiber. Global developments such as continued growth of China's economy necessitate an additional requirement of Abaca pulp. 20,000 metric tons Abaca pulp per year to support the requirement of its waste recycling plants. No? The needs of 800 tons of Abaca fiber for making capacitor paper shifted from sisal to Abaca. So this is another application for Abaca, which is for capacitor paper. Improving cigarette filter using Abaca. The use of Abaca pulp in coffee bags. So this is also another application. Not only that Abaca is used in the tea bags, it is now used in the coffee filter. No? New applications in the world market for Abaca fiber and Abaca pulp. Additional fiber requirements of Abaca fiber as substitute for fiberglass in the car industry. So this is a new application. No? Actually, I was involved in this project before with Daimler Chrysler. This was funded by DEG. We have collaboration between the University of Hohenheim in Stuttgart, Germany, and also the Visayas State University. Since 2004 to 2008, we have this project. And we were successful in the development of a technology, using the Abaca fiber as substitute in the manufacture of a substitute of fiberglass, in the manufacture of car parts. But unfortunately, the lack of supply of the raw materials made the project not successful, because the application of the fiber for car parts is a competition, with the existing industry like the pulp factory, the tea bags, and so on and so forth. So additional fiber requirements of Abaca fiber as substitute fiberglass in the car industry, and additional requirement of Abaca pulp for the manufacture of surgical masks. This is another application because there was one visitor, an owner of one of the owners of the pulping manufacturer in Japan, in Germany. They said to us that they have this new application. They have big demands on the surgical mask, in Europe, because they found out that using Abaca fiber for the surgical mask made the doctor more comfortable, to stay in the operating room for more than 5 hours, because it's compared to cotton. When you are using cotton, they said that they create more moist and they cannot breathe. No, but using the Abaca is perfect material for the application of surgical mask. So that's why they said that help us to increase your production of Abaca fiber because we have this new demand for surgical mask. And if the problem is that when we are slow in our to supply the demand, what will happen is that, you know, science, they can just maybe develop other materials to use instead of Abaca, no? Is same property with Abaca. No, you know, even China, they can produce plastic rice and many others, no? So it could be possible later on. So that is the concern that we are facing right now. The shift of Spain from Ecuador to the Philippines for its Abaca fiber requirements, no? So and then untapped markets for cigarette papers and tea bags in China and Eastern Europe, no? So actually we have not yet filled the market in China and Eastern Europe in terms of cigarette papers. Due to environmental degradation, Japan is now replacing PVC with natural fibers or materials free from chlorine. No, so this is another application for Abaca. Demand for 80 metric tons twines per month by Japan for the vegetable industry. No, so this is another usage, no? Twine, because using plastic is not biodegradable, they wanted to use Abaca or biodegradable material. The use of Abaca fibers in UK as replacement for asbestos is a big boost to the industry. Growing demand to conserve forest resources and protect the environment from problems posed by non-biodegradable materials, particularly the plastics. The viability of Abaca as substitute material for coniferous wood pulp in the paper market at a ratio of 2:1, pulp to Abaca would translate to about 100 million tons of Abaca pulp for consumption of the wealthy nation in the West and 150,000 tons for our local needs with a value of 150 million US dollars. So because we are using now more our paper are recycled, no? We wanted to strengthen the recycled paper by putting more in, by putting Abaca there to strengthen. So product development and improvement in the fiber craft sector, veering away from traditional ones, it resulted to the induction of innovative and world-class Abaca products in the market to maintain the country's competitiveness in the international market. Abaca fibers and dried outer leaf sheets, which are previously left to rot in the field, are used in making furniture and handicrafts. Moreover, since the furniture out of Abaca involves a creative design for the high-end markets abroad, the prospects will be substantial. We know that Filipinos are creative and we produce lots of new products. In 2015, the fiber supply and demand have negative balance of about 20,000 metric tons. So this is the scenario, no? We really lack the supply. The demand is high. We can only supply about 67,000 metric tons, but the demand is in 2015 was almost 85,000 metric tons a year. And now the demand is almost 100,000 metric tons. The Philippines imported Abaca from Ecuador to fill up the deficiency in supplies of specific grades to meet buyers' specification and for testing purposes. For instance, SPMI, which is a pulp manufacturer in Leyte, imported more than 2,000 metric tons Abaca fiber valued at 1.6 million from Ecuador in 2015. So this is an example that we really lack the supply because this pulp manufacturer is importing fiber from Ecuador. Based on the requirements of pulp sector, 2% growth rate of the fiber export and fiber use for cordates and fiber craft sector pegged at 12,000 and 4,000 metric tons. Respectively, there was a need for 106,000 metric tons of Abaca fibers in 2017 and about 120 metric tons in 2019. So we really have the constraints now is the lack of investment in Abaca fiber production due to the following reasons, no? Pest and disease infestation, so we have a problem with Bansitap, the lack of disease-free planting materials. So this is where I would like to point it out, no? Whether our Abaca products now is viable in the market. Yeah, it's viable now, but the only problem now is the lack of raw material. So instead of looking into the Abaca products, because if you invest more on Abaca products, we wanted to develop more Abaca products, we are actually competing to the existing Abaca industry in the pulp and paper, the cordates, which are still lacking supply at this time, no? I happened to talk with Nilson Tan. This is the manager in the owner of the SPMI. He said that their plant can produce a maximum of about 40 tons per day of pulp. No, they are the maximum or the optimum or maximum raw materials that they can use per day is 40 metric tons, but they operate at this time at about 5 to 10 metric tons. Why? It's because of the lack of raw materials, no? So 40 tons per day in a year, if we operate only 100 days, 40 tons times 100 is 4,000 tons a year, no? So it's still 100 days operation lang na, but we are if we operate at 200 days per year, so the 4,000 will become 8,000, no? So there are 6 pulping plants in the Philippines. So still, we know the lack of supply of fiber is the main problem. So the thing that I would like to present is the viability of, here another truth, no? Agriculture Secretary Emmanuel Piñol said the Philippine Fiber Industry Development Authority aims to cover 54,000 hectares of land with an average production of 4 metric tons to produce Abaca in the next 5 years. So this is the action of Secretary Piñol in order to solve the problem of the lack of supply of Abaca fiber. So it was in April 11, 2018. So he wanted to expand about 54,000 hectares. How big is that, no? So this requires about 140,000 million planting materials. In Eastern Visayas, there are only 3 functional tissue culture laboratories, no? And it can supply about 10,000 planting materials per month. So if we compute this in a year, they can only produce about 360,000. So 140 million divided by 360,000, if we depend only on tissue culture planting materials, it will take us 388 years to produce the planting materials needed for that 56,000 hectares of Abaca areas. No, so that is the reality this time. No, so how are we going to help this? No, we will not only depend on tissue culture. It's because still we cannot supply the needed planting materials. So here, this is a viability of Abaca plant less production in 1 hectare nursery. No? So these are the costs, farm establishment and planting. So you see there about 60,000 pesos, and cost for input. The cost of input is about 418,420. It's because the highest, the greatest value there is in the cost of the Abaca planting materials, which is at this time 35 pesos per plantlets, no? If taken from tissue culture, that's the reason why it costs about 350,000 in 1 hectare. In 1 hectare, if you set up 1 hectare nursery, that is 1 by 1 planting distance, you need about 10,000 planting materials. That's the reason there we have 10,000 planting materials, cost about 35 and 350,000 in total, no? So 418 plus maintenance cost of about 94,800 per year. So this is the income we can get, no, from the Abaca nursery, because 1 hill can produce about 12 plantlets per year. You can harvest 3 times, no? So at 4 pieces per hill. So we have an income of about 1,200,000. If we are pricing only at 10 pesos per plant, but you know, tissue culture costs about 35, and now the cost of planting materials ranges from 10 to 20 pesos, no? So we only wanted to make it lower so that you can really see whether it's producing income. So this is the financial cash flow analysis of Abaca plantlets in 1 hectare nursery production. For 10-year projection, we have an incremental net benefit of about 12,520,000. So with regards to financial indicator, our net present value based at 22% is 16 million pesos, and BCR of 5.76. So the return on investment, our cost of investment is about 574,000 in the establishment of Abaca. No? The beauty of Abaca is that once you establish it, you don't have to worry, no, because it will just keep on suckering, producing fiber, and you don't have to plant again. So that is the beauty of Abaca. You just invest once and then get income in the process. So the payback period with just 1 hectare of Abaca nursery production is 2 years and 11 months. So this is the picture of our nursery at Sugod Southern Leyte. No, so this is a picture of a nursery which is well managed. No, so I think that ends my presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you for the IBAR for this privilege to present.
Okay po, thank you very much, Dr. Sinon. Yes, ma'am, question po. Dito na lang po sa may harap po.
Good afternoon again. I am Dr. Susan Atienza of the University of Antique. Sir, I'm very, very happy that you have presented this project to the Philippines. I think this is nationwide, the coverage of this presentation. Okay, why? And I am very happy that the government now is giving attention to the propagation of Abaca, not only in Leyte but as well as in the whole country. Just a short review of our history. If you will review our history, I think this Manila Island, before the pre-Spanish time and during the Spanish time, I think Manila, Abaca is already thriving in Manila. That is why we have this Manila paper, which is made of Abaca pulp. No? Okay. Yeah. And then, I think the reason why Dr. Jose Perizal was exiled at the Pitan, it was because when he returned from Europe, he stayed at Sandakan. Sandakan is owned by the Sultanate of Hulu Sulu and is being leased to Malaysia, isn't it? Up to now, it is being leased. By how much? By $5,000 only. That is why the Sultanate of Hulu Sulu is very, very poor up to now. Okay? And then Jose Perizal, together with his European friend, successfully organized the first cooperative there at Sandakan, and it is called or named Sociedad de Abacaleros. So in other words, Abaca really is thriving in the country at that time, or before the Spaniards came over. And if only our government will look into this. Instead of spending so much money in a rice, why not we look into our history and revive this Abaca plantation in the country? And if you will check the topography of the Philippines, it thrives. Abaca is thriving even in the mountainous part of the country. And in fact, right now, I think the Fiber Institution is also financing one of the highest grades of Abaca fiber, which is found in our province, Antique, under the CARP program, the ARBO. One of the ARBOs there is producing Abaca fiber because according to this Fiber Institute, the fiber there of Abaca is one of the highest grades. But it is only one barangay. And I'm really very sad that most farmers do not know that Abaca is very easy to grow and there is money there. So I think the government really, especially the DA-BAR, will have to do something about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that, ma'am, for adding, for supporting our Abaca industry. No, yes, it's true, no? That's the reason why we have these pulping plants here in Canlubang, because in the history in Luzon, we have lots of Abaca found in Laguna, no, areas. And it's true also that if we are not careful this time, Indonesia is actually expanding reproduction of Abaca by the thousands, no? And we will be will not aware later on that instead of the first, we are the first producer of Abaca, we are the number one. It will happen that we will become third or fourth in the future. So that's the reason why we really wanted to challenge everyone, if farmers, no, to really go back into the Abaca production.
Are there any other questions pa po from the audience? Any more comments or significant na addition pa po? Kung wala na po, palakpakan po muli natin si Dr. Sinon.